Welcome back. Aurelius and Malik, the Exploration Archive. We close the Marco Polo file today. 5 parts. The end of the story. The final leg of Marco Polo's journey was a complex blend of anticipation and uncertainty. After years spent navigating distant lands, he and his companions were more than ready to return home. But the path back wasn't just a simple retracing of steps. It was a culmination of transformative experiences. Each encounter, each hardship had reshaped who they were. They had seen the world in ways they could never have imagined, and now they were about to bring those stories back to Venice.
But let's not forget the emotional weight they carried. This wasn't just about returning home. It was about reconciling their memories with the reality of Venice. Each landscape they traversed held stories of encounters, friendships, and lost companions. The journey back was an exploration of their past, as much as it was a return to the familiar.
As they navigated familiar maritime routes, the sea transformed from a symbol of promise to one of danger. The storms that threatened their return were a stark reminder of the perils they faced. Marco's leadership came to the forefront during these trials. He had learned much from the vastness of the East, and now those lessons were put to the test.
Aurelius, you frame it as a test of leadership, but let's be clear. This was a fight for survival. The storm was not just a backdrop. It was an adversary. Marco had to navigate through chaos while managing the fears of his companions. That's what true leadership looks like, facing the storm head-on, both literally and metaphorically.
True enough. But after what felt like an eternity, calm returned at last. The storm subsided, revealing a peaceful sea that stretched endlessly before them. This moment of reprieve was crucial, allowing Marco and his men to pause and reflect on their trials. They shared stories of their struggles and found strength in their unity, preparing themselves as they approached the shores of Venice, ready to face whatever lay ahead in their quest.
And yet, that calm didn't erase the cost of their journey. They were returning to a Venice transformed by time and commerce. Marco was not simply re-entering his old life. He was stepping into a new reality. The city was alive with energy, but the scars of their experiences would define how he shared his stories.
Upon his return, Marco's tales of distant lands enchanted many weaving stories that captivated the imagination. He became a bridge between cultures, shedding light on the wonders he had witnessed. Yet, skepticism loomed large. Some questioned the authenticity of his experiences, dismissing them as mere fabrications. They doubted the very truths he held dear, an all-too common response whenever new ideas challenged the status quo. And so, we see how history often dances with disbelief, even in the face of compelling evidence.
That skepticism was a heavy burden for Marco. It's easy to dismiss a traveler's tales as mere fantasy when one has not ventured beyond the familiar. His experiences were woven into the fabric of his identity. The challenge lay in conveying the truth of his journey to those who had no frame of reference for such wonders.
His legacy reached far beyond just his own adventures. Marco influenced trade routes for Venetian merchants, changing the commercial landscape in ways we still feel today. His writings didn't just capture his experiences. They opened doors to new worlds and cultures. They provided the foundation for future explorers who would follow in his footsteps. When we look at history, we see how knowledge shared can transform empires and expand horizons in ways we often take for granted.
But let's be clear, Aurelius. It wasn't just about expansion. It was about human connections lost and gained. Marco's heart ached for friends who never returned. Each story he told was tinged with sorrow and a reminder of the fragility of life. His legacy was not only about exploration, but also about the human cost of those journeys.
You make a valid point. The human cost is crucial for understanding his journey. Marco settled back into Venetian life, but the echoes of his travels lingered in his mind. He understood that while his journey may have ended, it also marked the beginning of a new chapter for those who would follow in his footsteps. We often forget that journeys like his reshape not just the traveler, but entire societies. History is a tapestry, and every thread matters.
What would the next explorers discover? That question lingers in the air, much like the distant horizon they chase. Marco's legacy isn't just a tale. It fuels the dreams of those brave enough to step into the unknown. The world has grown larger, and with it, the opportunities for adventure are boundless. His journey doesn't just mark a point in history. It opens the door for future generations, inviting them to uncover stories waiting to be told, lives waiting to be touched.
The horizon holds infinite possibilities, doesn't it? Marco Polo's journey was far more than just discovering new lands. It was a profound transformation of self. He didn't just return as a traveler. He came back as a storyteller, weaving tales that would echo through the ages. His experiences inspired countless others to take the leap into the unknown. Each story he shared helped shape the narratives of those who dared to venture forth, pushing the boundaries of their own horizons.
And that closes the Marco Polo file. 5 parts. One complete story. The full series lives on the Exploration Archive, part of the Archive Network. There's no shortage of files. Browse what pulls at you next.